Hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully everybody is off to a good off to a good start this weekend. Mm, mm. Let's make sure I'm not on the top chat. So everyone is aware, I have no idea how long today's stream is going to be. I will at least do my best to flip through each of my Balis, but we'll see. All right, let's flip something else. Mm. Yesterday I was playing around with the answer, and for the first time ever, I had opened it up and messed around with the weights and ended up putting it all right back to exactly how it was when I got it out of the, I say out of the box, yeah, how it was set up originally. Let's see. What's good, Unc? How are you? I'm all right. How are you, Silas? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. What's going on, Sammy? How are we doing today? Sup, Unc? Not a whole lot. Early into the day. Weekend is off to an all right start. Nothing has really happened yet today to make it, uh, you know, one way or the other. So I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm glad to hear it. Mm. Admittedly, my first bit of flipping today is on stream, so I'm still warming up. Mm. Unc de Goat. I don't know about that. BDE, how are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully your week turned out to be a good one and your weekend is off to a good start. I have nothing particular on the docket, you know, talking wise. I'm just flipping through today, and as things are on the quieter side, just looking to see how I can kind of start working, piecing together some of the things that I've been working on, and maybe work out a new combo to start drilling to incorporate some of the tricks I'm trying to implement into my flipping. Yo, hope y'all are well, 100%. Thank you, BDE. Wishing you the same for sure. So what are we all doing today? Are we flipping or are we just watching the stream today? If we're flipping, what are we flipping? What are our Bally's of choice? What do we have in hand? And what are we working on? Are we working on anything new trick-wise, or are we just flipping for the fun of it today? I'm not working on any new tricks. I have plenty that I need to, smooth out, and that's really where I'm at, is, like I said, working on figuring out how to incorporate what I've been working on into some sort of combo so that I can do it a little bit more consistently, frequently, comfortably. Just changed my 42 clones washers. Nice. I'm working on a combo, says Silas. Excellent. Good luck with it. Are you working on smoothing out a combo that you already kind of have figured out, or are you trying to build a new combo? I'm working on, I don't know. I don't even know that I can say that I'm working on building a new combo yet. At the moment, it's more along the lines of just seeing how I can move from one trick to another trick. And as I feel comfortable with a transition between two tricks, see if I can build upon that. But right now, I'm working on this extended twirl into the choker fan, and that's actually it feels a lot more comfortable than it had when I had initially thought about that being a way to get into the choker fan, because really I need more comfortable options to get into the choker fan, and that's one that doesn't seem too far off the mark, but I'm not consistent with it yet. So I think I'm going to keep practicing that, and as I do and I get consistent and comfortable with it, maybe start building some sort of combo off of the extended twirl to that was wrong, to choker fan. We'll see. Mostly just building and smoothing it out. Gotcha. Oh, build and smooth it out. Okay, fair. Hi, chat died for a second for me. Hi, three. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. How are we doing today? Hopefully, chat dying is not indicative of stream issues again, because we have been there, we have done that. It's not fun. Hmm. Nope. Hmm. Nope. That was the bite side. And good morning, Bali Unc. How goes it? It goes all right. Ghost flipping. How we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you had a good week last week and are off to a good start this weekend. Pretty low key stream today. Not a whole lot going on. I don't have any particular talking notes. So as things are quiet, I'm actually just working on seeing if I can figure out some newer ways for me to put together a couple tricks and build out a new combo. So, and then while doing that, I'm going to be trying to flip through my collection. But some of my bellies work better for some tricks than others. And currently, the combo, not the combo, but the trick progression or transition that I'm working on at the moment is um, the um, extended twirl into the choker fan. And because of that, I am sort of limiting myself to those that I can pretty consistently choker fan on. So that's why I'm flipping the Orion S right now, because I can choker fan really well on this one. Whereas like the Answer, I am not very good at getting a choker fan on. So we'll see how many Baileys I actually get through today. Um, Doing great, thanks. Excellent, glad to hear it. What's up, Silas? There's nothing wrong with not having a script or a topic, right? Yeah, I used to try to have talking notes for a topic for every stream, and then switched over to Wednesday being kind of a just chill out stream, and Saturdays being talking notes. And now those talking notes have kind of gone away altogether, and I just, flip on stream and chat with everybody. But periodically, having a having a dedicated topic makes it, easy to have something to chat about. But today I'm flipping. Ooh, I love the extended twirl. So good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the extended twirl, to the extent that I don't do the regular twirl anymore. I always take it down to the pinky. I just really enjoy it. I think we watch for you and your energy, at least for me. But topics and notes are totally cool too. Um, Whatever you prefer. Right. Yeah. And like I said, today my goal is, more along the lines of, let's flip and see if we might be able to put some tricks together and build some consistency. But I also don't know how long we'll be streaming for. We'll see. Ghost, are we flipping today? And if so, what are we flipping? Hmm. Let's see, what else can I do a pretty consistent choker fan with? Let's try the crescent. I like the grip of the crescent. It's really solid. Yep, flipping my Nautilus. Nice. I'm debating on getting a not live blade down the road. Very cool. No. Ah, have you flipped a knot? If so, do you enjoy it much? I have flipped a couple of them. Interestingly, I hadn't flipped a knot until I got down to Atlanta for Blade Show, and I got to try a couple of them before Blade Show actually started up, and I wasn't honestly very impressed. But then once I got to Blade Show, while I was at Squid's booth. I did flip their marbled knot, and I really, 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 really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with the knot personally. I think eventually I will need a little bit more experience, flipping it, and in order to really make up my mind on the knot. I have had good experiences and bad experiences. So I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other at this point. Not top three trainer. Oat. You think for you the knot falls in the top three from a trainer perspective? Nice. Man, that makes sense. It's definitely not for everyone. LOL. Nice. Yeah, some people swear by the knot. Some people hate the knot. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. I mean, my stance on it still is, if it flips, it's a good Bailey from my perspective. It's just, is it something that I would want to have added to my collection or not? Is really what it boils down to at the end of the day. And like I said, the knot didn't leave me with exceptionally strong feelings one way or the other. So, all right, let's. No, wrong. Specifically, the V1, the V2 is worse. Hmm. Yeah, from a dead stop, the um, Gaivo, I really enjoy the choker fan with the Gaivo. But mid motion, it is not as easy for me to get into the choker fan, like from the extended twirl, as I can with the Orion S, interestingly. Oh, that time wasn't too bad. I see you got a Bali Unc hat. Are you planning on releasing that to the public? My so the story behind the hat was leading up to Blade Show. Um, I thought it would be helpful if I had something that kind of stood out and was more recognizable. And my mother has a pretty nice embroidery machine, so I have the I love you Bally thing, and I have, what's the other side? This side, the Bali Unc logos both. So I had sent them to her, and she made me the hat. So it is not a mass produced. Uh, it is not mass produced apparel in any any stretch of the imagination. I do not see a need for Bali Unc merch getting out there. Um, yeah, so no plans on releasing that to the public at the moment. I don't know that there is a public need for it. Mm. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it is. I like the way that it ended up turning out. So it was really cool. So because of that, I've been able to get a handful of patches made, all of which at this point I've given out to people, and then the hat. So remind me, do you have a Kite AL? So I have the Kite AL 1.5, which I have 3D printed scales on it, making it a little less handle bias, still handle bias, very much so, but not as much so as it is with the G10 scales. I used to have a Kite AL 1.5 and gifted that to Grim Flips. So while I did have a Kite AL 1.5 Rev Tonto with the pink ano and ivory scales, I do not have that in my collection anymore. Just have the I don't want to say original Kite AL because you had the beta before that, but the 1.0 I do have. And it's, again, it's not as handle bias as it was with the G10 scales, but still very, very much on the handle bias side, which makes it a fun flipper, just not the most, I don't know. It's not a proficient flipper for me, but it is fun. It is enjoyable. What's going on, S198? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. How does this one? Oh, I don't mind the choker on the refault. So we'll try this one for a little bit. Nope. Doing kind of bad still, but that's a long story. Well, I'm sorry. The dual color scales are sick. I would love to try it because the Kite AL is slightly more handle bias. Wait, I would love to try it because the Kite AL is slightly more handle bias for what I prefer. Yeah, and again, I mean, with the G10 scales on the 1.0, it's like it's not quite like the Glider Arctic, which is like comically handle bias, but it's up there. It's really funny because now that I have more things to flip, and I have a better understanding of like balance profiles and stuff like that. I still remember early into my flipping, I was really thinking that balance-wise, the Kite AL 1.0 was like the best balanced Bali I have ever flipped. And now that I have flipped what I have, and I have the collection that I have, it is probably one of the most handle bias, most extreme handle bias Balis that that I have flipped, and in no way, shape, or form would I say that it's a great or recommended balance profile. And we have Jax. What's up, Unc? What's going on, Jax? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you had a good week last week. Hopefully the weekend is off to a good start for you. I am just flipping through the collection and trying to figure out new ways to piece some tricks together. And the one that I started working out early into the stream that I'm not quite spamming, but definitely definitely repeating to try to build some consistency is the going from the extended twirl into the choker fan. And that was not the smoothest, but I think that's an easier way for me to get into the choker fan from another trick so far, because historically my way of getting into the choker fan has simply been from from the dead start. So what's up, Jax? I'm currently lurking while playing Bed Wars right now. Haha, nice. Well, good luck at Bed Wars. I cannot remember the last time I played Minecraft. And I've never been a like Mineplex or oh, what was the other big one? I don't know. I've never really been into the gaming servers on Minecraft. My son definitely was he had been one of those, bridge building drag clickers. Hypixel, thank you very much. It's a pretty big server for sure. I wonder. Let's go back to the Orion S. I'm wondering if I might be able to do like an extended twirl to a choker fan into a palm fan. Oops. That, I think, if I could smooth that out, would be a nice starting point for building something out, maybe. Yo, sorry I'm late, dude. No worries. No worries, Rampage. How are we doing today? How was the collab stream with Burgundy? How did that go for you guys? Oof. What am I trying to do? Nope. We were literally just talking about the choker fan to palm. Nice. Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, I don't really have talking notes or anything like that. I'm basically just flipping through my collection, but I'm also trying to flip more intentionally on today's stream, and I'm gonna basically I've been playing around with what feels good from the perspective of moving from one trick to another, and seeing if I can build out a new combo. And what I have been enjoying is the extended twirl to palm fan, and then something I had just done led me to the thought that I could then go from the did I say, I don't know if I said it right, extended twirl to choker fan, and then if I go then from the choker fan to the palm fan, not only do I think that's a transition that I could get comfortable with, but that would also be a nice way for me to start incorporating palm fans more, which I have been wanting to do. So we'll see. Hi, Unc. Hi, Cruz. How are we doing today? I literally just woke up. Waking up to a Bali stream, if that's what you're looking for, if that's your thing, is pretty sweet. Earlier this week, I had mentioned earlier this week there was a day where there was literally like 8 Bali streams, and then after I had gone to bed, I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and Mystic was streaming Bali content. So it was pretty awesome. I received a super random Balisong yesterday from Armed Shark. I think I won a giveaway for uh, a $25 Bali. LOL. Very sick. That's awesome. S198 says, gotta go. Take it easy, S198. Hopefully you have a nice weekend. And then I love doing twirls to choker fans. It's super fun, dude. Still trying to learn how to palm fan from choker. It's really difficult. And Mel says, Cloud Chaser, try a short choker to backhand palm fan. Easier. What's going on, Mel? How are we doing today? Man. Why did that work instantly? Nice. Win. I can't palm fan from choker for the life of me, dude. Yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to need to work out. I'm good. What about you, Unc? I'm doing all right. We're early into the day. Not much has happened thus far, but so far so good. Yeah, just chilling, doing a little more intentional flipping than I typically do, or have typically done, of late, on stream especially. So I'm trying to be less repetitive, but on the same accord, the purpose of my intentional flipping is specifically to see what new ways I can put some of the tricks that I have in my bag together to build out a new combo. So to a certain degree, I am being a little repetitive in my flipping, because as I work things out, I am spending a little bit more time with what I have worked out to see if it's worth keeping, or if I want to switch over to something else. So currently where I'm at is, you know, the extended twirl to choker fan, and am now seeing about going from the choker fan into a palm fan. So we'll see if that works out. Um, the flipping looking good today. Thanks, Jax. I appreciate that. I woke up 5 minutes ago. Bali Unc streams better than breakfast. I don't know about that. I guess it all depends on your breakfast options. Um, and then Unc, you should learn the scissor. It's kind of annoying but really fun. So I think before I don't know, I'll think on it. I thought I was originally thinking before I got into trying to learn the scissor. Actually, I had started looking at the scissor and decided before going for the scissor, I was going to go for the aerial to chaplain. I figured that would be a good, stepping stone on my way to the scissor. But then was advised that it might be easier to, get that chaplain catch right here if I first work on a rollover to chaplain, which has really been where my attention has transitioned to. But I don't know. You guys tell me if the scissor is easier than the aerial to chaplain. And Ghost Flipping says, I do got to go, but thanks for streaming. Hope you have a great Saturday. Thanks, Ghost. Thanks for stopping in. Really, really appreciate it. Have yourself a great rest of the day and have an awesome weekend. And Cloud Chaser says, practice streams are the best, dude. Love chilling, learning new tricks or new stuff on stream. And cats are fun too. The scissor is very similar to the basic air, but best way, wait, to the basic air, best way to think about it. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that was, okay. I got to go to breakfast call. See you, Unc. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Mel. Have a great weekend. Have a good breakfast. Yeah, I'm sure I can find a way to smooth that out. Yeah, I mean, it should theoretically be pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of smoothing out the edges. So, yeah. Any luck finding a squid trainer? I've had a couple people reach out to me about it, but no, nothing definitive yet, which is fine. I'm not in a rush. I had seen Saruman's video on his most recent acquisition of of an inked out squid trainer, and listening to Saruman talk about how nice the ring on the squid trainer is reminded me just how much I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the squid trainer when I was borrowing the squid trainer from Ethan over at Blade Bias, and I really really started missing it. So I just wanted to put the feelers out and see if there were any options, but that's about it. I think the new Bali I've received is quite similar to a squid trainer handle wise. It looked like I mean yours is G10, whereas the squid trainer is aluminum, but by way of like texturing, it looked like the texture of your new trainer looked very similar to the texture of the squid trainer. I can definitely see that. I don't know what I was just trying to do. Let's reset. No. What's up? I just ordered another Seraph. Nice. Though that particular emoji is indicating maybe not as nice. Um, I don't know. It's a solid valley, so from my perspective, nice. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. Oof. So is this going to be like, Sarah? So is this Seraph number two? And do you still have Seraph number ones? My pockets hurt, but my heart feels good. Yeah, I can understand that. So is there a difference between the Seraphs for you? Is like one of them uh, a different blade shape, like Seraph with Opus blade, or I got one Seraph with the Seraph blade. Wait, I got one Seraph with the Seraph blade I still own. So is the new Seraph a Seraph with Opus blade? So I just bought the new Seraph with Opus blade. Nice, nice. Um, that is really cool. The only the only Seraph that I know that I have flipped, that I like actively remember flipping, where I know it was a Seraph handle with a Seraph blade, was Lance's at Penchetta, when we were talking about the pass around valley that he was sending me home with. He showed me the his Seraph, and I enjoyed it. But in all honesty, the valley he had sent me home to try, the pass around valley, um, was my preference, was my preferred setup, which was the Opus V2 handles with a Seraph blade, because I like the Seraph blade, but I really enjoy the Opus V2 handles. Then Tevko says, two Seraphs is wild. What's going on, Tevko? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Mm. Yes, I saw that video. Two Seraphs will last me a lifetime, though. Although I prefer the Seraph with no weights. And that's the one thing I didn't get to mess around with, was different weight options for the Seraph. But however it was set up, the one that I was sent home with, I mean, it was perfect for me. I loved it. Tefko says, just chilling you. Doing well, doing well. And then Cooper says, what's up, Unc? What's going on, Cooper? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you are doing well. Sticky is here, says, hi, guys. Hi, Sticky. How are we doing today? Hopefully everyone had a good end of the week last week. Hopefully everyone is off to a good start so far this weekend. I'm doing my best not to forget what it is that I'm actually doing, and that I don't just fall into my mindless, repetitive, comfort combo, and that I actively work on what it is that I'm trying to work on. And then Cooper says, do you know the chatter? I do not. I don't know the chatter. It is on the list of things to learn, but I am not there yet. At the moment, I am, like I said, I'm trying to be a little bit more active and intentional on my flipping during today's stream, so that I can play around with some of the tricks that I already know and have in my repertoire, and see if I can figure out new ways to incorporate them into my flip. Well, not so much new ways to incorporate them into my flipping, but see if I can find ways to flow from one trick into another that I haven't done before, and see how that goes for me. So currently where I'm at, what I'm working on is the extended twirl into the choker fan feels really good. I like that progression. And then about 10 minutes ago or so, I thought that going from the choker fan into a palm fan might be a good follow-up transition. So that's basically what I'm working on there. But not all of my Balis flip the same. Some of them I choker fan better at, and some of them fan more comfortably than others. So interestingly, for that particular trick progression that I'm trying to work out, the Orion S is what's working best for me, because the Orion S fans really, really, really well, and is one of those Balis that I can get a very comfortable and consistent choker fan with. So I hate the idea of just flipping a single Bali on stream and not switching between my Balis. But as soon as I like switch over to a Kraken, for example, that process is stinted, because I can't get a consistent choker fan still with the Kraken. And the Kraken doesn't give me a super confident palm fan. So I think this is one of those situations where, while I kind of smooth out the edges, I'm probably going to be sticking with the Orion S. Unc's flipping progression is great. I'm still cheeks at flipping, but I just flip to satisfy my fidget factor, not to be a pro or anything. I I thank you for thinking that. Also forgot to mention the Seraph I dulled with a coffee mug trick. The one I just ordered, I will keep sharp. Gotcha. I did not get to dull the Opus handled Seraph bladed Bali, because obviously it wasn't mine, it was Penchetta's. I think I would have been able to flip it far more comfortably and confidently had it not been as scarily sharp as it was, but it was still really fun to flip. As far as my flipping progression, I appreciate you thinking so, but just like you, I mean, I flip to satisfy my fidget factor, and to get out of my own head sometimes. I don't do it to get particularly proficient. I'm never going to be on, Bally Comp stage, at Blade Show, you know, trying to win anything. I do this because it's good for my soul. Like I said, it gives me something to set a goal for. And not all days are great days, and when the days are not so great, sometimes you just need a distraction. Plus I have ADHD, so I am a fidgeter. So get this gives me that thing to fidget, and it gives me that distraction that I need at times. So instead of worrying about the problems of life that I can't immediately solve, instead I can kind of transition that focus over to, okay, well, how can I smooth out this trick? How can I you know improve my flow? How can I do the things? um how you like that Gaivo? I owned the Rafus and the Ivo at one point. Really enjoyed them. I really do enjoy it. It is definitely a unique flipping experience, but not in a bad way. Just something that it doesn't flip like anything else that I have. The best way that I've been able to figure out how to describe it is floaty. But I really enjoy it. I just need to continue to spend more time with it and get a little bit more familiar with the floaty feeling, so so it doesn't feel so foreign. And I don't say that in a negative way. It just right now I can't just mindlessly flip this thing because it is so unique in its flipping um, feel in comparison to others that I'm so enamored um, by the way that it feels when I'm flipping it, that I'm not just you know flipping on default. Um, but I would like for it to be a little bit more familiar to me, um, so that I can kind of go into that, you know, just focusing on the flipping versus the experience. Right now, the experience is enough that it's not a distraction. It's just hard to get myself lost in the flipping of that one because I'm constantly. It's kind of like when I flip the stainless steel Astra. This thing is so heavy that is an attribute I can't not notice when I'm flipping it. Whereas if when I flip the Orion S, I don't have any of those things to think about. I don't think about the weight of the Orion S because it's really not a factor that comes into play with the flipping. I don't think about the balance because the balance it just gets lost in the experience. This is an experience, but it doesn't, like, its individual attributes aren't lost in the experience yet. Like, as I'm flipping it, I am thinking, wow, this feels really floaty. This feels really unique. Whereas, when you flip something like the Kraken, where you don't really have to think about the weight, you don't really have to think about the balance, you don't really have to think about these things. They just kind of disappear in the flipping experience. Versus for me right now with the Gaivo, that really is the flipping experience at the moment. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let's catch back up. Okay, so that's that. Uh, Same dude. That's why I flip. Cool. I think that's why a lot of people flip. Um, I have been flipping about 3 to 4 months and can do a majority of intermediate tricks. I have a Kraken already, but want a knot. What do you think? A lot of people love the knot. Ghost flipping was actually just in the chat not too long ago, maybe 20 minutes ago. And also asked me, because one of his favorite Bally's is his knot. and had asked me what my opinion of the knot was. I've flipped a couple of them when I was at Blade Show this last year, and it was my first experience flipping a knot. The first couple that I flipped, I wasn't honestly a huge fan of the flipping, but then once Blade Show started, I can't mindlessly flip the stainless steel Astra. It's too the weight is too distracting. I need to be there for it. So we'll go back to the S, Orion S. But once Blade Show started and I got to the Squid Industries booth, I picked up and flipped the Live Blade marbled Nautilus and found myself really thoroughly enjoying it. So in all honesty, I'm not sure where my stance is on the knot yet. I have had experiences with the knot that I didn't like. I've had experiences with the knot where I really, really liked it. So jury is still out, and I'm probably going to need to. I'm probably going to need to spend time with it again someday to make up my mind. Stitch is here. Hello, Stitch. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Is that a Necron? No, I do not have a Necron. What are you talking about? This one right here? That I took off the 3D printed scales and I put the orange G10 scales back on the Bali Plus ref. That's what that is. I struggle to learn new tricks because 99% of tutorials are right-handed. Ooh, yeah, I get that. My son is a lefty also. Oh, are you talking about this one right here? Yeah, this one is the Gaivo by Dodo Industries. But no, regardless of which one you're talking about, I do not have a Necron. I have no real interest in the Necron. So, all right, I am losing chat. Okay, not cool if you get a good secondhand deal. I struggle to learn new tricks because 99% of tutorials are right-handed. Yep, my son's left-handed. Totally get that. However, some people, I know at least a number of them. I don't know if she does it all the time, but I know Artsy was pretty good about showing mirrored tutorials for right and left-handed people. I know a lot of Squid's tutorials do the same, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something that everybody does. It is not the norm. So totally get that. Okay, and then Blue Bomber says, save video, flip horizontally, boom, left-handed tutorial. What's going on, Blue Bomber? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you are doing well. We also have K-Dog. What's going on, K-Dog? All of those same things to you. Hopefully you're having a good day. My Ballys that took longer to get used to end up being my favorites. Black Bally Reaper V3, Dagger Blade took me a few weeks. Yeah, and again, I love the Gaivo. I truly do. It's super fun to flip. It is a wonderful fanner. Like all of the things that I enjoy about that Bally really stand out in a positive way. It's just those things that stand out in a positive way. They haven't kind of like just disappeared into the woodwork yet. They're still, I enjoy them so much that they actually end up being a slight distraction, which is why, like when I did the video on it, the first impressions video, I said, after a couple of weeks with the Bally, we'll do a follow-up review video. But I'm gonna have to give it a couple weeks so that I do, get that familiar, get to that point of familiar flipping as opposed to, new experience flipping. I told you the knot was good. Yep, a lot of people have told me the knot was good. And then Grum is here. Hi, Grum. How are you? Hi, Scott. Hi, Grum. Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. I have never flipped a knot, and they're pretty expensive. So if I ever try one, I'll. white. So if I ever try one, I'll have to buy it. Gotcha. Yeah, and that is a rough spot to be in when you don't have the opportunity to go to like a blade show or a Bali meetup or something like that. Shroom, it's not that your messages aren't showing up. I'm behind in chat. I was literally about to get to yours. I promise I'm not ignoring you. I'm Lefty, and I just screen record and flip the video and watch it in slow-mo. Doing all right. Just totally forgotten about this, or forgetting about the stream. LOL. Getting too deep into worldly matters. Grum says, Unc, I'm here. And yeah, Artsy did a lot of righty lefty demos. Yep, I thought she had. I thought she was one of the ones that was really good about doing that. Grum says, I absolutely stink. I am sorry. You should take a shower. If you have a knot, it will have tap. That is a pretty globally expected statement right there. As I understand it, every knot will have tap. What's good, Bali Unc? What's going on, Burgundy? How are we doing today? I said hi forever ago. No, you did you? Hold on, let me see. Did I miss it? I'm not trying to argue with you, I promise. I don't have a single hi from Shroom. So somehow that didn't show up in my chat, and I am on live chat. I'm not on top chat. So I'm so sorry for sorry that I didn't end up getting it. I promise it was not intentional. Thanks for the tips, guys. Blue Bomber says, I do like whatever new scales they showed on the knot, but I can't get with the prices. Someone said the Crescent is near the same spec, so I'm going to look out for that one. I love the Crescent. I really, truly enjoy that Bali. That landed on my toe. Cooper says, Tevco, do you think it's worth it if I get secondhand maybe for what price? Grum says, I'm sick and I can't move, or it makes me really tired. Trust me, I would. I am so sorry that you are not doing well, Grum. I wish you the absolute best. Hopefully you're able to get some rest and relaxation, some recuperation this weekend. Shroom says, LOL wild. Yeah, I promise I'm not ignoring you. Balisong Bandit says, a nice shower feels good when you're sick. If you have enough energy to get in, that is. Right? Agreed. I'm waiting for the red Crescent to be in stock so I can get it. LOL. Yeah, I was really hoping that they were going to end up doing a pink colorway with the Crescent. With mine, I ended up getting the silver and white, and then I just dyed the scales. But it didn't turn out quite the pink that I wanted. I'm still okay with it though. I have looked at Crescents, but I want the red or at least purple, LOL. My brain hurts and my throat hurts. Grum, I'm sorry, that's a bummer. Yeah, I was just about ready to order the Blood Moon Crescent and it sold out same day. I was about to do it, LOL. Yeah, I keep hearing people talk about the Blood Moon Crescent. In all honesty, I haven't even seen it. So apparently I am behind in Nibalis news. So I mean, I'm not super behind in Nibalis news. Like I have seen the Thai trainer, you know, their little short that they had, short little video that they had made on that. That thing looks really sick. I am aware that the Riptide won the Create with Nibalis this year, which I'm super excited about. But as far as like the new colors of the Crescent, apparently I am out of the loop on that. And then Tevco says to Cooper, 180 ish. That's how much my friend got his second hand for the trainer. Blue Bomber says, I'd also be happy with a purple with white scales so I can dye them green. That would be pretty sick. Do you guys know the Nibalis cat ballad song? I really want one for real. I have one. I have the Nibalis cat that I had gotten from. This was actually sent to me by Shroom to play around with and give my impressions on stream a number of months ago. And then on that stream, Shroom lovingly told me that I get to keep it. So yes, I was actually gifted the cat a number of months ago. So you're aware, my impression of the cat, everybody glazes the cheese, which is another one of the Teflon Baileys that Nibalis puts out there. Everybody glazes the cheese as being a great beginner Bailey, public friendly, all of the things. I prefer the cat over the cheese because the cheese is slightly more handle bias than the cat. I like the balance profile of the cat a lot more. Plus, I mean, look at that thing. That thing is adorable. That's a cute Bailey right there. And because it has these scratch marks, let's see if we can get those a little better. Because we have these scratch marks on there, it actually adds grip that wouldn't be there otherwise, but it also relieves some of the Teflon grip, like when it's humid. When it's super humid, I struggle flipping like the Teflon Vulp or the Nibalis cheese because it's just so sticky. But because of these scratches that are in the handles of the cat, uh, it 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 adds grip while like it adds textural grip without over overloading you with the Teflon grip. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but anyway, at the end of the day, as far as the cat Balisong Bandit, I thoroughly enjoy everything about this Bailey. So, and then Cooper says, I have seen a Nod on eBay for 150, looks good condition, and it's inked. That is cool. Nibalis also has a lightning style Reverie right now. I saw that that you had said something about that. That's really cool. I'm hungry, but I can't eat. I'm sorry, Grum. That sucks. The one release like yesterday or something, or that one released like yesterday or something. That's awesome. Shroom says, I dislike the cat. Well, your disliking of the cat led to my acquisition of it, and I thoroughly like the cat, so that is okay. And also, does your son flip? So, my son doesn't actively flip, but my son started with Balisongs before I did. All he did, though, for the most part, was opening it, closing it, twirling it around, not a fan, but twirling it around in his hand. And that was about it. It was just for him, it was something to, while he was, on his computer, playing his games or, doing his Discord calls or whatever it was that he was doing at the time. It would just give him something to keep his hands busy. But he never really, intended on, learning a whole lot of tricks or anything like that. So when we had gotten a 3D printer, I went through and I printed something for everybody in the family. And because he was so into flipping his Balisong around, I thought that would be something that would mean something to him. And as soon as it got off the printer and I put it together, I opened it and I closed it and I was like, wow, that's super satisfying. And whoa. And I printed up a second one for me, and that actually got me into the hobby. So, but anyway, to answer your question, he does not actually flip like learn tricks, but he will periodically mess around with the Bailey just to keep his hands busy. They probably shouldn't have done the lightning on the Silver Reverie or done it in a different color so you can see the pattern. Love how the cat looks. Also, hi Unc. Hi Useless. How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you are off to a good start of the weekend. Oh yeah, what hands and Teflon grip is too much sometimes. Agreed. Uh, yes, that is a very true statement. I'm so happy that there are. Wait, I'm so happy that they're all people who like it. It's adorable. Yes, I agree. It is. It is a an aesthetically pleasing, cute ballet. Very, very, very public friendly. Um, but in all honesty, I wasn't expecting much. And then Lost says, "Good morning. Good morning, Lost. How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully, you had a good week last week. Hopefully, your weekend is off to a good start." Yeah, I wasn't honestly expecting much from the cat because no one was talking about it. But I did love the fact that it was adorable. Um, and then, like I said, for me, uh, this is ever so slightly more leaning towards. I mean, it's not neutral, but it's less handle bias than the cheese. I think the cheese strikes a good balance for the masses, but for me, because I do appreciate a lighter handle bias, closer to a neutral balance. The cheese is great, or the cat is perfect for me. Plus, for me, the cat fans a little bit more naturally than the cheese does. Yeah, Blue Bomber. I was hoping the new color for the or hoping for a new color for the Reverie 2. I think it's engraved though, so maybe the silver one has good feel. I don't know though. And then Useless says, "Hey, by the way, did you find a Squid Trainer V4 yet?" No, I haven't. Nope, nope. Not really. Like, I mean, I put that post out there, but I'm not like super actively like in search for it. But after watching Saruman's video on his recent Squid Trainer V4 acquisition, listening to him talk about how the Squid Trainer sounds reminded me of my time getting to flip Ethan's Squid Trainer. When he had sent me the package of Bally's to flip around and play around with. Man, it's been a long time. That was like probably 6 or 7 months ago, if I had to guess at this point. But honestly, that was the last time I had flipped a Squid Trainer. I don't know that I flipped a Squid Trainer a single time at Blade Show. But I was reminded just how much I thoroughly enjoyed the sound of the Squid Trainer. Pretty good at work now, flipping the $25 Thomas Astra on my break. Nice. Hopefully you're having an okay day at work. Yeah, that's awesome. I like the Astra. It definitely qualifies for me as a fun flipper, but it is definitely not something that I typically throw in my pocket and carry around. Just simply because it's so heavy. I typically prefer something lighter than that. Do you have any BB Barfly Bella songs? I forgot if you do. No, I wish I did. Again, that too. I don't think that I have flipped a Barracuda V2 since Ethan had sent me his to play around with a number of months ago. I don't know that I flipped one while I was at Blade Show, but I mean that was a really good Bally. I really like the Barracuda. Actually, I did flip one of the super. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but before they made the Barracuda or anything, they had like just a regular like bottle opener one. I mean, they're all bottle openers, but the old school looking bottle opener one with giant handles. It's a super hefty Bally. I know that Paul at Acid Works, had a couple of those at his table at Blade Show, and I did pick it up because I wanted to know what it was like to flip such a hefty Bali, and it was really 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 cool. BB Barfly. Yeah, it's a BB Barfly Bally, but Paul had one of them at his, or a couple of them at his Acid Works booth during Blade Show. I've only used a Barracuda, but I want to try the Firefly. Um, yeah, I have only actually I want to say that I might have flipped a Superfly. I think I have. I think when I was hanging out with Ethan at the pit at Blade Show, I had asked if I could try his Superfly because I was very curious what the titanium uh, version from BB Barfly felt like. But I honestly I don't remember my impressions of it. The really old OG ones where the handles are very thick and it's super loud. Yes, that one. So I know at Blade Show I did try that one and was really, really surprised by how like super flippable and comfortable it was. Like it wasn't super throwing me off. And I was not expecting that. I thought it was going to be really like a silly Bally to flip, and it wasn't. It was a pretty solid experience, in all honesty. So, all right, let's okay. So we're caught up in chat. Let's get back to my seeing if I can figure out this piecing together these tricks. So I'm working on the extended twirl to choker fan. Dang it, and I forgot. After the choker fan, I'm trying to work in a palm fan. So those three tricks I'm trying to string together at the moment. No, okay. Not getting it well with the cat at the moment, so we'll again go back to the Orion S because man, I love the fact that this thing can do everything that I need for it to do because this feels handle bias, but despite that, this is like other than my Gaivo, this is the best Bally I have for fans. This thing just there's no wobble whatsoever. It doesn't fight you at all. It just wants to fan. Plus the shape of the handles, the fact that it's like it's very chamfered on all corners, so it's like an octagon, is just super comfortable to get into the rotations that you need for the choker fan. I gotta. That's gotta be a fun one for bartenders. I bet. Does anyone know when the Riptide will be available? I do not know, but I'm definitely keeping my eye out. There are two Bally's at the moment that every now and then I will actively look to see if any traction or any progress is being made, and that is the Novalis Riptide. But I don't know that I would even be able to miss that one, coming out because there's going to be so much hype around it. But then also the Heritage Comb by PR Balisong. I am really like every couple of weeks, I go and check out PR Balisong's, Instagram to see if they're talking about any sort of movement with the Heritage Comb, because that thing flips just as well, if not better, than my Orion S comb blade, and yeah, I cannot wait for that Bally to be available. Unc, did you see the Orion V2 I did. I flipped the Orion V2 trainer, I know, at Blade Show. I have not had an opportunity to flip the live blade, which I understand is a better balance profile for a lot of people. Um, but it simply wasn't out yet by Blade Show, which was in early June, and I think it was late June that they started talking about the live blade finally being publicly available. Um, but what I can tell you is, uh, from my perspective, I think maybe it was an improvement over the V 1.5. I don't really know. It wasn't that memorable in comparison to those two. But I knew that from my preferences, uh, the Orion V2 did not hold a candle for me in comparison to the Orion S. The Orion S is still my favorite of all of the Orions. Though admittedly, I have not flipped the live blade. I don't see the live blade being better for me than the Orion S is. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. It's possible, but I don't see it happening. Hmm. All right, back to extended twirl, choker fan into palm fan. I really need to figure out how to smooth out the um, choker fan into the palm fan though, but it'll happen. We'll get there. That was not a smooth transition either. I haven't tried a live yet. Definitely want to go with something I know well. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, remember when the dab was a thing? Yeah. Yeah. Remember when you would hear about like, people getting I don't know. I think I had heard rumor, though I don't know if it was ever factual or anything like that. But like, people getting in serious trouble in other country, like performers getting in serious trouble in other countries for dabbing, like on stage, where that country was like super not okay with like it just the whole thing, the whole dab thing. It's kind of like the 6-7 thing, these days. It's just like it's so silly that it was such a thing. All right, I again went back to my default flipping and stopped work or doing what I'm supposed to be working on. Ugh. Oh man, I think I remember that actually. Yeah, it was wild. Uh, weed dabs. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And I definitely didn't want to just randomly drop it. Mm. Oh, I'm supposed to be getting into a pound fan from there. And then as I think about it, I could probably, what could I do? Oh, that wasn't it. Oh, I could probably, because the other thing I've been working on. So if what we're trying to do is we're trying to line up a number of tricks that I either am trying to work on or trying to incorporate more into my flipping. So I'm trying to work on the choker fan, and I'm trying to work on getting more palm fans into my flipping, which is why, you know, it makes sense for me to move from the twirl into the choker fan into the palm fan, because that would incorporate two things that I'm trying to incorporate. The other thing that I have been really drilling has been trying to get the uh, thumb roll over to chaplain, and typically the chaplain is how I get into the extended twirl. So it would make sense for me to incorporate that in there too. So if I do the thumb roll over to chaplain, chaplain to extended twirl to choker fan to palm fan, maybe that'll be my base build that I can start working off of. Because that way, if I get those tricks, you know, into the state of a mindless flip, like just a combo that I don't have to think about, I just do, then I would not have to think about, you know, trying to smooth those out. They would just naturally be smoothed out. That would be pretty awesome. Let's see, how many 0Gs can you do in a row? Wait, hold on. I'm behind in chat and I didn't even realize it. I think I remember that. Unc, did you ever try an LDY answer? Yes, I have tried an LDY answer. I enjoy it very, very much. As a matter of fact, um, I have been toying around with, because honestly, I haven't really posted much of anything concerning this ballad song. And after doing the Gaivo first impressions video, it dawned on me that now that I have had the answer since Blade Show, it probably wouldn't be a horrible idea for me to do kind of a review video on the answer. So this is probably going to be the next Bally that I do, like one of my, you know, head mounted, like long form content videos, not an on stream thing, but an actual like video, is probably going to be on this. We'll see. Okay, answered that. How many 0Gs can you do in a row? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a uh a 0G fan. I mean, it's not that I'm not a fan. I never do it. The only time I ever do a 0G is when somebody asks me if I can do a 0G. So, I mean, I don't know. Enough that I can, you know, show that I can in fact do a 0G. But the 0G is like, honestly, is like the one trick that, because it took me forever to learn how to chaplain. Like for the longest time, I was sure that the chaplain was an internet hoax. That like it was AI. People didn't really do that because it was impossible. And then I figured it out, and it was great. 0G chaplain was the exact opposite. The first time I tried a 0G chaplain, I could do it. It's just not a trick that like I have an easy uh, entry point for, so I never do it. It looks so pretty. Thank you. I agree. That's I love it. I absolutely adore the answer. Whoa. Um, I have nerve damage in my ring finger and pinky, so it's been pretty hard to learn palm fans. That is a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. Fair, I struggle with pinky tech from an injury I got with a live blade. I am sorry to hear that too. Actually, I have a loop for choker to palm and back to choker, so darn hard to even get a few in a row though. Oh, awesome. I haven't bought Bali in forever, but when I save up enough, the answer is top of my list. Yeah, I really like it. And for the first time ever, last night I actually opened it up to mess around with the weights because the one thing that that I can say about the answer is it is one that does have a pretty noticeable wobble. Like I can feel the weight being thrown around on the fan. So I opened it up last night to mess around with the weight configuration, the weight pins. Moving them around, taking some of them out, taking all of them out, seeing if I could get it so that it felt more neutral and gave me a more comfortable fan. And sadly, I wasn't able to. Even with all of the weights out of it, it was still a it was still a I don't want to say an uncomfortable fan. It doesn't fan the way that I want for it to fan. But that is literally my only criticism, and it isn't even criticism. It's just it happens to be the dynamics of this particular ballet. But the one thing that I wish it did do better was I wish that it fanned a little bit more comfortably for me. The only other thing is because of the finish, the mirror polish on this one, when it's super humid, I can't really flip it because it gets very sticky in the hand because of the mirror finish. But it is so stinking pretty. I just deal with it. Mm, all right, but yeah. Um, and then I'm slow coming around to Chaplin, or I was slow coming around to Chaplin's, but started to work, but starting to work them in now. Can't do zero G's yet. Nerve damage twin. My dominant hand, right, has nerve damage in my wrist and all fingers, so I flip left. And then we have Estian. How are we doing, Estian? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you had a nice week last week. Hopefully your weekend is off to a good start. All right, Bali Unc, or all right, Unc, gotta head out. Good seeing you stream. Take it easy, Burgundy. Have yourself a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the weekend. And Estian says, "Good. How about you?" I am doing all right. It's still early into the weekend, but doing good. And Elijah says, "This is my first time here." Hi, Elijah. How are you? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. First time here. So, did you just randomly stumble across the stream, or are you a seeker of Bali content, or are you just happening on a battle song themed stream out of curiosity? Either way, everybody in the chat is super chill. We are a very chill group, so you're aware. Ethan sent me here. From like Ethan at Blade Bias, like from one of his videos where he said go check Unk out. Is that what you're referring to? Ooh. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Well, thank you for thank you for coming over and giving it a shot. I appreciate that. Ethan is awesome. So so you're aware. Yeah, I am I am not that great. I have been flipping for just over a year. Um, and I am intentionally a slower learner. I like your energy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm intentionally a slower learner There were a number of months right after I had stopped, or right after I had started flipping, where right after I had learned the behind the eight ball, and right after I had learned, oh, I just did it wrong. Right after I had learned the helix, I had learned that you could string the two together and do a behind the eight ball to a helix back into a. I can't believe of all of the things I could have messed up. Back into a behind the eight ball, into a helix, just infinity loop. And there was probably a solid like three months. I think I've said 3 or 4. I think it was more likely closer to 3, where that was probably the only flipping I was doing was just a helix behind the eight ball infinity loop for like 3 months. Yeah, but basically I stream twice a week, every Wednesday, every Saturday. Um, sometimes I have something specific to talk about during the stream. Of late, I've just been streaming, practicing, hanging out, talking to chat. But yeah, but welcome. Thank you again for taking Ethan's advice and coming on over. I appreciate it. Useless says awesome. Yes, it is awesome. I appreciate it. Estian says, in your opinion, Kite AL 1.5 or Orion V2? That is difficult. And the only reason I say that is difficult is because I've flipped the Orion V2 trainer. I have not flipped the Orion V2 live blade. And my understanding, both per people like during this stream who have said it, but also just in general, what I've heard is that the live blade is noticeably better than the trainer. But and then you also have a couple different blade options for the Kite AL 1.5, and I have not flipped all of those blade options. You have the trainer, so if you're trying to compare trainers, I have not flipped the Kite AL 1.5 trainer. I have only flipped the Kite AL 1.5 Rev Tanto. But what I can tell you is the Kite AL 1.5 Rev Tanto is such a good Bali. I got more memorable impressions from the Kite AL 1.5 Rev Tanto than I got from the Orion V2 trainer. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that gives you something. What I can tell you is, as far as the Kite AL 1.5, you can't go wrong with it. It is a absolutely wonderful Bali. Orion V2, as I understand, is an improvement from the 1.5. I enjoy the 1.5, but as far as the Orions are concerned, I still hold strong that the Orion S is unequivocally the best Orion that LDY has made. But again, haven't flipped the live blade V2, so maybe that's better than the Orion S. But I highly doubt it for me, just because I love everything about this Bali. Is it more a subjective thing? Yeah, it's definitely a subjective thing. Orion V2 live is sick, says Pico. What's going on, Pico? Have I noticed you in the stream yet? Is that your first chime in? Or am I having a memory issue at the moment? If so, hi Pico, welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. How are we doing today? Estian says, and in your opinion, what's the most underrated Bala song? Okay, so that one is actually pretty easy. I can only speak to my collection, but what I would say is, and by underrated, I mean it has been talked about the absolute least, and that is the Nibalis cat, because very, 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 very few people have talked about the cat. And I prefer, uh, strongly prefer the cat over the cheese, which is a hyper glazed Bali. I have no issue with the cheese. The cheese is great, but the cheese is slightly more handle biased than the cat. The cat has better grip than the cheese because it has scratches in the handles. But also because of the scratches in the handles, as we were talking about earlier in the stream, where you're talking like wet hands and high humidity, the cheese, Teflon on the cheese is going to grip your hands a whole lot more and make it a lot more difficult to flip than the Teflon on the cat because you have these scratches, which my brain tells me makes the Teflon itself less grippy because you have less Teflon actually making contact with your hands. Because the Teflon that's in the scratches, isn't actually touching you. Yeah, from my perspective, of all of the Ballys that I have and have flipped, I would say that the cat is uh, sorely underrated. This is a really, really, really great, really, really, really great Bally. Um, the Tonto Kite alt blade always throws me off. LOL. So the thing for the Rev Tonto for me with the Kite AL, or I'm sorry, the Kite 1.5. Yeah, Kite AL 1.5. Yeah. At first, I was afraid that the Rev Tonto was going to throw me off as well, but then what dawned on me was the fact that on one side of the blade you have an angle down, the Tonto like aesthetic, and then on one side of the blade you just have a straight edge. And as soon as my brain was able to connect the dot that the long straight edge is the sharp side, immediately I had it figured out, and there was never a single issue with the Rev Tonto from that point forward. To the extent that, and to give you a kind of a visual representation of what I'm talking about, this is what a Tonto looks like, where you have, the sharp part is, you have this angle and you have the flat edge, and the long straight edge is the dull side of the blade. On the Rev Tonto, this is the sharp side, and this part is all dull. But as soon as I like visually identified that the long half was the sharp half, I had no issues. But where I had issues was then when I pulled out the Kraken and started flipping it, I would start like flipping it backwards, and running the risk of cutting myself because my brain had associated that long straight edge with the sharp side, if that makes sense. That's actually good advice, LOL. It reminds me of the old Benchmade 87. Well, excuse me. Yeah, hopefully it helps somebody. It really helped me. Because again, it's like, you don't want to flip something and get injured. But yeah, as soon as I realized that, oh, well, just associate the long, flat of the blade as being the sharp side, it was just super easy. I want a cat, just gotta get someone who can do a black coating over the white so I can have a tuxedo to match my kitty. I'll never not call it a missed opportunity. They didn't do cat patterns. Yeah, that's true. What's the most overrated Bally in your opinion? Um, man. Mm. I don't know. I mean, I love all of my Ballys, and I don't think any of them are necessarily overrated. I could say something like super easy, like the Necron, from a price to performance perspective, but I don't think that anybody really hypes the Necron for the most part. So I wouldn't really say that it's even considered overrated, or could be considered overrated, because I don't know that the Necron is really highly rated. Um, what I will say, instead of telling you what I think is the most overrated Bali, in my opinion, what I'll do is tell you what uh, what I perceive differently than basically the rest of everybody. The rest of everybody says that the Kraken is, the absolute cream of the crop, like bread and butter Bally. If you want a Bally that'll just do what you want it to do, the Kraken is where it's at. And from a balance perspective, like, I can totally get behind that. But the Kraken, for me, is exceptionally difficult to get into a consistent choker fan with because of the shape of the handles. Um, Whereas, like, the grip that the Gaivo provides, or the chamfering hexagonal shape of the Orion S, or the grip that the G10 on the Crescent gives, all of those things help lend themselves to me and my flipping very well into getting in the choker fan, and getting that momentum. Something about the shape of the handles, and the, I don't want to say slickness of the handles, but there is nothing like absurdly grippy about the Kraken, and because of that, it's more difficult for me to get into a choker fan on the Kraken. So while everybody says that the Krakens are like the best vanilla balisong in the in the community, in the hobby, for me, this is like, it's in my top 3. It is my preferred Bally to drill, but that's because, like, balance just kind of disappears in the flipping experience. Weight disappears in the flipping experience. It truly is a wonderful Bally to flip, but that one particular trick for me, and the funny thing is, I don't think I've botched a choker fan since I've been talking about how this thing doesn't choker fan very well. But each of my choker fans have landed, which is really comical. But that's what I would say. In no way, shape, or form would I say, Estian, that the Kraken is overrated. It is not. But in my opinion, I don't hold the same opinion that everybody else does, that the Kraken can just do everything, without thinking. Whereas, where others may be able to do that, for me, there are a handful of tricks that I just really struggle with, specifically on the Kraken, where I can do it on other tricks much more easily, much more consistently. So hopefully that answers your question. I guess I can't really talk since I never tried a Rev Tonto kite, but I'll try to think of it like that. Kraken is overrated in a way. It's just a default overall great choice, maybe in that way. Irony, haha. What do you think Benchmade will bring a better balisong with modern features besides the Necron? I don't know. I mean, it would be nice. It would be really cool if they did. Similarly, because Benchmade is a larger knife company. It would be great if they kind of kept their foot in the balisong door. Similarly, you have Civivi, which is also a very large knife company that had just recently, with the Dracolisk, I think is what it was called, released a balisong, and it wasn't generally well received, for a number of reasons. I hope that Benchmade does do something coming back into, you know, a more modern take on a ballad song. And hopefully Civivi takes the feedback that, you know, they've gotten from the community by way of, you know, handle texture, you know, designing it with bearing, or I'm sorry, bushings in mind, larger, more capable Zen pens. You know, hopefully they, you know, publicly releasing what the materials of the Bali are, because that matters to people in the hobby. You know, hopefully we do see more larger knife makers kind of get into the Balisong scene. That would be really cool. For me, it looks like a replicant clone. What, the Necron? I can understand that. If your stance on it is it's like a kind of a I don't want to say beefed up, but like it looks like it has the aesthetic of a replicant, possibly, that has been stretched wider. I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. And Blue Bomber says the Dracolisk is awful. Actually, just had a Civivi vid on that recommended to me just today. It's hard for me to be politely constructive about something so bad. Well, and I know that there were like the two first reviews that I saw on it, in those two videos, before the video was done, you know, both of those flippers experienced broken Zen pins. And when we were looking at it, we were looking at Ethan's at Blade Show. We were talking about it, and we're comparing the Zen pin size of the Dracolisk, whatever it is, to other Bally's, and you know, confirmed that it at least appeared to us as though the Zen pins were actually smaller. It's just, yeah. But again, I enjoy Civivi. Civivi is a good a good knife company that I'm aware of. You know, the majority of my, you know, folding knives, pocket knives, are from Civivi. So when they decided that they were going to get into making Balisongs, I was really excited. Hopefully they take the feedback that they got and, you know, make an improved product, as opposed to just tossing in the towel and say, okay, well, we tried. Did you answer? My bad. I was in a Valorant match. The overrated Bally? Yeah, so I gave you a non-answer. I don't have an answer for what's overrated. Instead, what I can do is I can tell you, you know, where my opinion of a Bally differs from the vast majority, which is everybody, you know, glazes the Kraken for being able to just easily, comfortably do absolutely everything. And for me, the Kraken cannot easily, comfortably do everything. You know, for me, I struggle specifically getting into choker fans with the Kraken. Whereas I don't struggle with choker fans with a lot of other Ballys. That's the closest I can think of as far as overrated, but I don't think the Kraken is overrated at all. I think the Kraken is absolutely goated. It's one of my top 3 Ballys, and after I've learned a trick, it is my preferred Bally to drill the trick with. It's just, like I said, there are some tricks I cannot drill with the Kraken. And then Useless says, mine came out of the box with awful tap and play. Wait, the Necron looked so cool. I'm sad it wasn't as great as it looked. Mine came out of the box with awful tap and play. That's a bummer. I'm sorry, Useless. And then Shroom says they're bad. They're bad, these bigger knife companies, because they are regular folder and other sorts of knife companies, and they are not thinking about the flippability of a knife. They are simply thinking about making A knife that happens to move in the way that the battle songs move. They are making it into a regular EDC knife, not something to flip. Yeah, hopefully they, like I said, hopefully they learn from their mistake. Huzzah is here. Hi, Huzzah. I know you commented a bit ago. I'm behind in chat. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. I got a Blood Moon Crescent, the limited one from Nibalis. That's awesome. Very cool. I still don't know what it looks like. I know the Crescent, obviously, but the Blood Moon, I'm assuming black and red, but I haven't actually looked at it. So that's really cool. I'm happy for you. Civivi is a great budget folder brand. They have the potential to do good things. They just decided to wing it on their Balisong for some reason. Again, I really hope that they take the feedback from the community and improve upon it, because I think it would be really cool if Civivi had a quality Balisong out there. I just don't think that they've nailed it yet. I will be right back. If the stream ends, then goodbye. All right, Elijah, thanks for, if the stream ends, thanks for stopping in. And if you come back before it does, you will be welcome. Thanks. I was wondering if you would be interested in buying or trading for a Mako V 4.5 bit beat, but it has okay tap. I have a Mako already, Ghost Mako V5. Is it V5? That's what they're currently at. Let me double check. I don't want to misrepresent my collection. Mako. Oh, V5. Yeah. So I have a V5 Mako already, in the Ghost Edition. So no, not interested in Mako V 4.5. And then Useless says yes, V5. Okay, good. Ooh. No, that was not. That was not smooth. Okay, thanks. Yeah, no problem. I need to tighten it. It is tappy. There we go. No. Nope. All right, let's see. Okay, I am going to, Useless says, really hope Squid makes a Swordfish B2 or some version with the feedback involved. I miss the Swordfish. Yeah, and they recently just did their final production of the Goldfish, like a a mystery blemish swordfish that they were selling on their site. At least as of last week, they were still up. And the ones that I saw were like each handle had their own color, and then the blade had it was like a 3-color mashup. It was pretty neat looking. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I will. Oh, the mystery colors. Yeah. All right. I'm going to throw up the be right back sign. I'm going to drop my desk down. I'm going to bring my chair around. I'm going to get a little bit more comfortable. We're probably going to start slowing things down, wrapping things up. We're not done yet, but just 1 second. I'll be right back. Hi, AMA. Just hold tight. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's see what to flip. I don't think I've flipped the Orion 1.5 yet. I definitely have not flipped through my collection today. I've flipped a number of them, but not all of them. I don't think I touched the Bandage Knife Stitch B one. I know I haven't touched the Kraken Trainer. I don't think I flipped the cheese. I know I didn't flip the Squiddy U or the Flamingo. How have you been doing, Scott? I'm doing all right, AMA. How about yourself? How are we doing today? You have a good week last week? You off to a good start for the weekend, hopefully? This has actually been a pretty productive stream. Normally during my streams, I just interact with the chat and get lost in my chat while doing a lot of the same combo very repetitively. And the beginning of this stream was on the quieter side, and I was actually able to do a lot of intentional flipping and decided that, I would start coming up with new ways to string things together. And while I couldn't just do it with the V1.5, where I settled on things thus far is that I am going to be building something off of a I think I forgot one of the things that I was already thinking. Oh, thumb rollover to Chaplin to extended twirl to choker fan to palm fan. And I think I'm gonna try to start building some sort of combo off of that progression of tricks, because I want to get more practice with the choker fan. I want to incorporate more palm fans, and I'm still trying to drill and learn to smoothly thumb roll over into chap. So I think that if I start piecing those together into a repeatable, no, that was bad, into a repeatable combo, I may get what I'm looking for by way of improvement. So, and that all came out of this afternoon's stream, which is pretty productive, if you ask me. Pretty good, getting ready for my senior year. Excellent. Wishing you the absolute best of luck. When does school start for you? Yeah, I know some schools have already started. Some schools start, this coming week, and some schools don't start until September. I mean, you don't have to share, but whenever you start, good luck. Useless says, you got this, Unc. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I do, just simply because trick progression always works. For me, trick progression always works better when you can incorporate the trick you're working on into a combo to make it more repeatable, more mindless. So that's the goal. What's going on, Saruman? How are we doing today? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Hopefully you had a good week last week. Hopefully your weekend is off to a good start. Nope, that would have been the bite side. Oof. Man. I think it's been a little while since I've actually hit 2 hours on a stream. It's funny, when I was doing my 1 year in YouTube recap video, I was completely blown away by how long my earlier streams used to last. Like I used to have like 2 hour stream would have been a short stream for me. I had so many like 3.5 3 hour 3.5 hour streams, and now recently I've made sure that they're at least 45 minutes to an hour. But you know, somewhere in there, I'm pretty sure I had some like 35-minute long streams, um, and uh, and it just seems so strange that you know when I had started, I was streaming for like you know multiple hours, and but then again, back then I wasn't doing very much flipping. My flip to talk ratio was heavily talking. And I was probably flipping 5 minutes out of 20, which is kind of embarrassing in retrospect. Whereas these days, like if I'm streaming, whether I'm talking or not, I'm flipping constantly. That was horrible. Looking forward to seeing friends regularly again. Can't say the same for my ex. Yeah, I get it. My flipping has pretty much stayed the same. I've just been learning tricks on my offhand. Next Thursday is when school starts. Gotcha. Well, I wish you the absolute best of luck, not only in the school year, but you know, with it being your senior year. You know, hopefully you end your high school career on a positive note. Saruman of many colors or white? Saruman of the Bali. All right, now I'm getting back into my mindless flipping. Okay, so roll over to Chaplain, to Extended Twirl, to Choker Fan, to Palm Fan. I will smooth all of that out one of these days. But I really enjoy the extended twirl into the choker fan. Prior to my figuring that out, I did not have a easy way to get into the choker fan, and that is a pretty easy one for me. Oh, I messed that up. Chill stream, helping work fly by. LOL. Excellent. I'm here for you, Lost. I'm glad that that the stream is making work go by a little easier for you. Ugh, man. Oh, I sadly got a ring of shame from the Seraph about a month back. Felt like a paper cut all around my finger. That is a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. I have definitely been there, but then again, I mean that's why the first thing I do anytime I get a new live blade is I introduce it to sandpaper and you know dull that sucker down enough so that you know if and when I inevitably uh, do a ring of shame, it's in spirit, not you know not in blood. It wasn't horrible. That's good. Ring of shames are brutal. Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had one that has resulted in you know the actual cutting of flesh. That would be horrible. Okay. I like my knives really sharp though. I mean, to each their own. You can't badly wrong. Everybody gets into this for their own reason. Everybody, you know, enjoys it for their own reason. Everybody has their own preferences. I appreciate a dulled live blade. Others appreciate you know popping hairs with a sick sharp belly. Um, I don't poo poo on any of it. Some people are trainer blade only. Some people are sharp belly purists. As far as I'm concerned, so long as it flips, it's a good Bali, and you can't really do it wrong. Ugh. I don't know why, but it makes it more fun. Plus, cutting through a steak with a $750 knife is hilarious. Again, to each their own. Um, for me, the only reason I have any Balis that are sharp is because some Balis, like the Answer, are only available as a live blade. Um, when I got the Orion 1.5, I got it specifically because it was the Christmas edition, which was only available in the live blade at my time of purchase. Plus, while they had a trainer version, the trainer version didn't have the snowflakes on the blade like the live blade does. And that really was part of the Christmas aesthetic. Man, why is this not going into focus? So, you know, the only reason I ever get a live blade is specifically either because, it's the only option, or like in the case of the Kraken, um, it, provides a noticeable difference in the weight profile. And the live blade Tonto Kraken is known to be better balanced than the trainer, which is more heavily handle biased. So, but to each their own. Reminds me when Brandon used his Medusa to cut cheese and eat it. Yeah, yep, yep. Let's see. I'll flip the bandage knife Stitch V1. It glides through meat, by the way. I bet, because Machine Wise has crazy edge on their live blades. And then Lost says, I have a titanium Bali with reverse Danto D2 blade. Ringed my thumb twice. One right below the other, just healed. That is a bummer. Man, I'm sorry. Pico, I like the look and feel of a blade, but not being cut. Yeah, like I said, for me, it's what's available, and is there a benefit to one versus the other? But if you give me, like when I had the Kite AL 1.5, I got that as a live blade specifically because I thought that the Rev Tonto looked absolutely amazing. So it was the aesthetic. With the Kraken, it's because it's the better weight profile. With the Answer is because it was the only option to have the Answer in my collection is for it to have been a live blade. So yeah, but if you gave me the option of a say there was a Bali that had both a trainer version and a live blade version, and they legitimately 1,000,000% flipped the exact same, and both of them looked cool, I would probably opt for the trainer versus the live blade, just simply because in that circumstance the live blade wouldn't add anything to the package other than it being a sharp knife. And that's for me, again, everybody has their own preferences, but for me, the sharpness, the cutability of a balisong is the least important part of the balisong for me, because I don't use these for utilitarian purposes, or utility purposes. I use these as a means to do my flipping, as a tool for flow art, and that can be plastic, aluminum, titanium, live blade, trainer, false edge, bottle opener. I mean, it doesn't matter to me so long as it flips. It's good. I like the look. Oh, I already said that. I think my next purchase balisong Wise is the Cygnus. Very cool. Nope. All right. So I think we've gone through everything. You said flow art and the sleeper agent in me woke up. That was the plan, shroom. All right, so I think I have flipped through just about everything. Maybe haven't touched the rep. Just swapped the scales out on this one yesterday, so this is back to being heavy and not blade bias. Which Cygnus says useless. This is one of those that that would have been a cut. This one too, I thought was one that I struggled with the choker fans on with the G10, but maybe not. No, maybe not. Anyways, the one by Rad, sick, very sick. No, I think I'm going to be able to do that with this one too. I just have to work out the smoothness of all of the things. All right, anyway, now I think I've flipped enough. We're going to get things shut down. We're going to get things wrapped up. We are going to get on with the rest of our weekends, everybody. But as always, to my lurkers, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me and toughing it out while I've just kind of been flipping in silence for a good part of today's stream in comparison to others. Everybody who's been interacting with me in chat, thank you guys. You guys are the reason why we're over 2 hours today. It's been fun. It's been great. But I wish all of you a great rest of the day, a great rest of the weekend, and a great week to come. For everybody who is going to be starting school right around the corner, best of luck to all of you guys. Hopefully you guys have an amazing year this year. Reef, I see that you are in here. Fun stream. I'm sorry if I missed a previous comment. Hi Reef, it's been a while. Welcome to the show. All right, so thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hi. We'll see you guys in the next one. Love you.